Thank you, Acting Speaker. It is a pleasure to rise to speak on the Justice Legislation Amendment, Police and Other Matters Bill 2023. This bill amends the Victoria Police Act 2013, the Firearms Act 1996, Fire Rescue Victoria Act 1958, Terrorism Community Protection Act 2003, Road Safety Act 1986, Victorian Civil and Administrative Tribunal Act 1998 and Worker Screening Act 2020. So it is evident just by listing all the acts that this bill seeks to amend that it is a fairly comprehensive bill, and it is very pleasing to hear that it has bipartisanship support. This bill, and excuse me for clearing my throat, will introduce a suite of reforms with the purpose of maintaining community safety, which is paramount for all of us here, Acting Speaker. It will do so by increasing Victoria Police's capacity to regulate firearms, by making administrative enhancements to the operation of the Countering Violent Extremism Multi-Agency Panel, and expanding the circumstances in which police officers are authorised to use vehicle immobilising devices. Strengthening the integrity of the Victoria Police discipline system and ensuring that Victoria Police personnel operate in a way which is consistent with community expectations is another key aim of this bill, Acting Speaker. It will also enhance the privacy of participants of the Restorative Engagement and Redress Scheme for Victoria Police. I'll refer to that as the redress scheme, and make minor technical amendments to other Victorian legislation. Acting Speaker, safety of all Victorians is foremost in the minds of each and every member of this place, and this bill will ensure Victoria Police have what they require to keep our community safe. Thank you. I echo the members for Berwick and Laverton in calling for all Victorians to drive safely. I'd like to put that front and centre before I continue speaking. As we enter the Christmas holiday season, please stick to the speed limits, please do not drink and drive, and please do not be distracted by mobile devices. And if you're in my area of Monbulk, please slow down as you approach the curves, because you know, it's interesting terrain up there, and I do implore people to drive particularly carefully at this time of the year, because our road toll is simply a tragedy. This bill will also enhance Victoria Police's disciplinary system and support Victoria Police and other agencies to maintain community safety, with dangerous drivers to be targeted earlier and stronger safety controls placed on recreational firearms, as I mentioned before. Acting Speaker, I have much admiration and respect for Victoria Police. It has more than 20,000 employees. It delivers policing services to over 6 million Victorians, with approximately 14,000 interactions with members of the public every day. They work to ensure our safety, and for this I am eternally grateful. My oldest and dearest friend Jane, her father Dennis, was like a second dad to me growing up, and he was the first police officer I ever knew. So from childhood I developed quite an appreciation for the demands of the role through knowing him very, very well. Dennis was actually at Russell Street when it was bombed. He was in the building. And Constable Angela Taylor was his colleague. And I was just reading up about that before, and I always forget how young she was. She was 21. So as the mother of a 19-year-old son, it's quite a frightening thought to think that someone so young lost her life in the course of her duty. Dennis was also shot in the shoulder in the line of duty. It's an injury which more than 35 years later still causes him physical pain. He also attended Melbourne Zoo back in, I think it was 1989, when a poor soul decided that he wanted to end his life by climbing into the lion enclosure. So Dennis was there and saw that horrific scene. He saw far too much in the line of duty, so much more than most of us here can even contemplate, with the exception of the members for Bayswater and Berwick and other frontline first responders, the members for Melton and Frankston. Dennis is a man of the highest integrity, and I wanted to take this opportunity to pay homage to him. He is one of the finest men I've ever known, and as I say, through knowing him, I have admired police officers and the work which they do, and I agree wholeheartedly with everyone else that they are incredibly deserving of our thanks. The local police across my electorate also do marvellous work, I've got to say. I had the opportunity to visit both Emerald and Monbulk police stations with the Minister for Police and discuss the local challenges for them. And I was very pleased to also attend Belgrave Station, and they gave me a very comprehensive briefing on their emergency management plans and the work that goes into planning for emergencies, in particular bushfires, of course. I mention that often here, I know, I sound like a broken record, but they are forefront in the minds of the people across the Dandenong Ranges. But the work that they do in the background to ensure our safety is just, it's unparalleled. And I owe them a debt of gratitude as a member for Monbulk on behalf of all people who live there. We are in very, very good hands. So I'd also like to mention that as we do come into the holiday season, as we discussed yesterday in talking about frontline workers, our police are not going to have the luxury of taking time off to be with their loved ones like the rest of us will be able to do. They will probably be working harder than ever. I know New Year's Eve is one of those days where no one can get leave. It's a blackout day for taking leave because it's such a busy one for them. So while we're all doing whatever we choose to do on New Year's Eve, be it be in your PJs in bed at 10 p.m. or be in the city watching the fireworks, whatever floats your boat, they won't have the luxury of that choice. They'll be out there making sure that we are all safe. So a huge and hearty thanks to them for that too. And I'd like to join the members for Berwick and Laverton who gave a huge shout out to the PSOs who work here in the parliamentary precinct day in, day out to ensure our safety. I've got to say their presence makes me feel safer. I hope they can enjoy, potentially, a quieter time over the next couple of months until Parliament resumes again in 2024. So the member for Laverton spoke at some length on the disciplinary process reform which this bill will amend, so I didn't want to cover that ground, but I wanted to talk about protecting the privacy of redress scheme applicants. The scheme is available to former and current Victoria Police employees who've experienced workplace sex discrimination or sexual harassment. It's a topic really close to my heart. When I was a National Industrial Officer at the SDA, I actually in the end became the trainer for sexual harassment. So I would travel around to the branches around the country and train up union officials and delegates on how to deal with sexual harassment in the workplace when members approach them with their stories. It is something that is all too prevalent in workplaces, unfortunately, and so it's really important, and this bill will make amendments to ensure this, that participants of the redress scheme have confidence that the private and sensitive information they share with DJCS will facilitate and support redress is confidential. So many people hold back from divulging information because they don't want their name put to it, they don't want to be identified for a whole range of reasons. And I'm really pleased to see the amendments which this bill makes to ensure that people can feel confident in coming forward and knowing that their privacy won't be breached. So the Secretary will be authorised to provide de-identified and thematic information from the redress scheme to IBAC instead of listing people's names. So this scheme provides participants with an opportunity to access personal support and redress in a really non-adversarial setting, and that is key as well. In other words, participants are not required to make a formal complaint or pursue legal proceedings to access the benefits of the scheme. We do need to make it easier and less threatening for people subject to sexual harassment or sex discrimination in the workplace to come forward, and privacy is absolutely paramount in ensuring that this occurs. So, because the reality is many participants won't come forward if they think they're going to be named. And they want to improve the culture of Victoria Police. And so this bill really supports that in happening. And I'm really proud that as a government we've identified this and we've ensured that this bill contains the levers to ensure that this occurs. So there are several, the bill is, as I say before, quite comprehensive, and I cannot list through all of them, but I do want to just say one more time, thank you to Victoria Police for keeping us safe. But safety is also a personal responsibility, so people need to ensure that their behaviour out there is also smart, especially on roads, especially over Christmas time. I'd love to see our statistics not increase anymore, and I implore all Victorians to go carefully, go safely, and don't create more work for our amazing police officers.
The member for Malvern.
Thank you, Acting Speaker, and I rise to speak on the Justice Legislation Amendment Police and Other Matters Bill 2023, and I'll start by endorsing the remarks of the member for Monbulk in relation to the important. It is the season of goodwill to all, so let me, in that spirit, let me endorse the remarks of the member. Don't make it hard for me. This is difficult as it is. I endorse the remarks of the member for Monbulk in praising the great effort and dedication of our frontline service workers, including Victoria Police, and I think that's a sentiment I hope we can all, well, at least most of us, can actually get behind in this holiday, or coming up to this holiday season.